as I was saying, people, testimony time. Testimony time. How do you know you live for God? You will know if you're chosen. You will get information. You will have people talk to you. You will people have say things that fits right on time to what you need to hear. And all of what you need to hear is not going to be good tidings. One thing about prophecy and one thing about telling the truth is not always what somebody wants to hear. Do you know that? It's not always what you want to hear. Simon Peter, I say this so much. Simon Peter, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. But don't be afraid, for I have prayed for you. Why? Because who I chose from the beginning. I pray for, Jesus has prayed for everybody he chosen. He said none of them is lost, except the son of perdition. Anybody who's chosen by God is not lost. They are found. They are into his marvelous light. Because he has prayed for them. He has chosen them out of the world to be different from the rest. Simon Peter, Satan desires to sift you like wheat. Why does Satan desire to sift Peter like wheat? Because Peter has a purpose. But he said, don't worry, Peter. When you are converted, strengthen the brethren. When you go through all these trials and tribulations, you come out so strong, strengthen others. And tell them what they're going to go through. Teach them the truth. Just like I have taught you the truth. Spread it in and out of season. Testimony time. Heard this twice. Years ago, I was backsliding. I was backsliding big time. Living for the world. Yet I still praise God and I still called upon God. And he still talked to me. And sometimes he used the strangest characters to talk to me. I was sitting in the car, communicating. It was late night, about 11:30 at night. The man I was in the car with was like, Houston, do you believe in God? Yes, of course I do. Do you believe in the devil? Yes, of course I do. And he told me something. There's something I didn't want to hear. But maybe I needed to hear it. Houston, the devil wants you bad. I'm like, what? He wants you bad. Why does he want you bad? Because you are chosen. When you're chosen by God, the devil wants you. He wants to sift you like wheat. Do you know that? He's going to send haters your way. He's going to send people, destructive heiresses, to come in and disrupt you. They're going to come in the form of familiar friends, evil spirits in the spiritual realm. All types of things are going to come your way. Why? Because you are chosen by God. Truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. What did he tell the disciples to go out and do? That's why he wants us to grow stronger. Cast out demons. So, if he told the disciples to cast out demons, what's going to come your way? Is that a simple question? Yes. What's going to come your way if you went to cast out demons? Demons. Cast out evil spirits. What's going to come your way? Evil spirits. You understand? You're going to be under attack. It's proof. But when you get strong enough, you'll be able to cast those demons out. And I'm praying and praying for that day when I am strengthened and when I am completely converted and I can cast those demons out. Because they're going to come. And the thing is, they're not going to stop. You got to think about it. As long as the disciples walked this earth, they had a job to do. Spread the word. Tell people the kingdom of heaven is at hand. help the poor, cast out devils. As long as they walk this earth, that's what their job description was. To do those things. So you got to get ready. You are a soldier. If you are a soldier, that means there's a war. What's the war? Good versus evil. Wicked versus the righteous. Rich versus the poor. It's a battle raging on for souls on this earth. And God has chosen you to join the harvest. Pray that you enter the harvest. The laborers are few. I need more workers. He wants more. It's not that he needs, he wants you. Passionately, he already chose you. You understand, people. Can I go to a story? You know, I listen to other people's videos and I listen to what they say, and they be on the right track. And the story. In the video I posted about, he talked about Samson being a failure. Talked about Samson being a failure, but I understand the whole concept. Be not equally yoked with non-believers. The whole concept was Samson would let the wrong people in. But I go back to some one-liners, and I remember what was said. When Samson first was called, he had a mission. He was chosen by God. Let me tell you something, people. When you're chosen by God, you can't fail. Does that mean you ain't gonna face no bumps and bruises? You can't fail. God never fails. You cannot fail if you're chosen by God. Do you understand? Read the Bible. See how many people failed God that was chosen by him. If you could tell me one. I didn't say chosen by the people. Saul was chosen by the people. But how many people who were chosen by God, who were after God's own heart, failed? None. How many of them who were chosen after God's own heart didn't face tribulation? None. How many who were chosen by God went through battles? All. Faced opponents, faced tribulation, faced haters. How many of them? Nehemiah, when he was trying to rebuild the gates, chosen by God. They ridiculed, they mocked Nehemiah and everything. Tried to stop him from rebuilding the gates. Did Nehemiah fail? Nobody chosen by God has failed. Samson did not fail. Yes, he faced some opposition. He failed a lot of times, but he rose. He never gave up. Yes, some of the wrong people were in his life, but he never failed. He did what God set out, intended for him to do. So when you're going to tell a story, make sure you tell it in all honesty and all truth. Don't leave nothing out. Don't leave nothing out, people. Let me go tell you something. The beginning of Samson's story. He said, you're going to be a Nazarite for me. Don't let no hair be cut. Don't drink no wine. Don't touch the dead. Okay. We all fall short of the glory of God. We all fail, but we all rise. One thing you're going to realize about a Christian, about a follower of Christ, though I be buffeted, though I go through tribulations and all these things, they're never going to give up. Samson was a strong man. Do you know that Samson judged for 25 years? Oh, now did you know that? The story is quick, but you got to look at some of the things that's in the story. 25 years, that's a long time to judge. I may be a little off on the numbers, but it was in the 20s. He judged God's people. 25 years. When it's your time, it's your time. Well, I guess if you're talking about limit, some of the disciples failed. Stephen was around non-believers when he was stoned, but then he failed. He served his purpose. He was chosen by God. So he was chosen to live and die for Christ. Live and die for God. Yes, don't be unequally yoked with non-believers, but did you hear what Paul said? In order to be not around non-believers, you have to leave this world. You have to leave this world. He said, don't place yourself. Don't just emulate on your own. Place yourself out there. You understand? Do away with the friendship of the world. That's one way to start. Watch how many haters you find out. You have. Anyway, back to Samson's story. I'm going to give it to you the true way. For all the people that say Samson failed. When his parents, he was like, he even said the same thing. The person who was making a video, watch it. Watch the video. The person who was making the video said the same things Samson's parents said. Why he's not even going after a Jewish woman. He want a Philistine woman. The dude said the exact same thing, who was spreading the word. But he left something out. It was like even his parents didn't know why Samson had it in his heart to date a Philistine woman. Why? Because God sought occasion with the Philistines. And he was going to use Samson through all his trials and tribulations to serve his purpose. People, y'all better read the word. Don't be afraid. You're going to be hated. He used Samson's strength to do exactly what he was called to do. 25 years of judgment, of judging the children. It was time for his purpose. Yes, he's had a weakness, as we all do, but he served his purpose. No man of God never failed. I'm not even finna sit here and say another man of God failed. Impossible. You might can be led astray for a little while, but if you're chosen by God, you're gonna do what you're called to do. When Samson placed his hands on that pillar with no eyes to see, who you think led his hand? Oh, the little boy. Who you think led the little boy to Samson's side? God. Who you think came to Samson's aid? God. Upon his deathbed, the day of his death, he called upon the Lord, and the Lord came. You better read the Bible and all understand all truth. Don't leave nothing out. Stop putting this fear in people's heart. Yes, I tell you to be careful about being equally yoked with non-believers too, but don't fear. The Bible tells you they're going to hate you. You're going to go in some places that some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you. That's part of your job description. How you know you're a Christian? Because it's part of your job description. I'm not going to lie to you. You understand? Listen to another video about somebody. You know, thinking that as a Christian or a follower of Christ, once your sins are forgiven, nothing can come back upon you. He was talking about karma. He said as a Christian, you shouldn't face karma. You shouldn't say the word karma. And I agree with him on that aspect. Karma, that's not of God. But I'll tell you what it is. You reap what you sow. I bet you that's in the word. So if the Bible says you reap what you sow, what does that mean as a Christian? The Bible also says every act, every work will come into judgment. You do reap what you sow, people. You ain't got to say karma no more. Say you reap what you sow. I'm going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to tell you part of it. David was called by God. And David made a mistake as a man. And God punished him as a man. Don't think because you're a Christian you can't be touched when you do something wrong. Yes, you can. Samson, eyes gone, hair cut off, still chosen. Don't fall into that trap that think it costs you work for God. You can't make mistakes, and you won't be punished too. Yes, you will be. Go to Moses. I want you to lead the people to the promised land. But guess what? You ain't gonna walk in, but you will see it. You see, by him allowing Moses to see the promised land, to me that was a sign to him, like, you're gonna see the promised land. But right now, no. Because some of the things you did. But God is a forgiving God. Do you understand, people? Better get that out of your head. If you're chosen by God, you cannot fail. Do you understand? Cannot. You're going to be hated, but you ain't finna fail. Unless you fall away all the way. But if you're chosen by God, how can you fall away all the way? That goes contradictory to the word. He said, none is lost who I have chosen. From right now and those to come. Those who are going to worship me in honest spirit and truth will not be lost. You understand? But you will be hated. And you will face trials and tribulations. You understand? Wow. Perfect. You understand? It's crazy how they talk about not being equally yoked with non-believers, but they leave one of the most amazing stories that shows somebody being converted from being equally yoked with non-believers to the dark side. They left Solomon's story out. I can't believe it. He's a prime example how being equally yoked with non-believers can change your heart. So I do agree with that aspect of it. But if you're chosen by God, you're going to do what you were called to do. Watch this. You can't fail if you're called by God. Does that mean you're going to make it to heaven or hell? I don't know. None is lost. If you're chosen by God, right, you're going to figure something out. What was Solomon's purpose? To build a temple. He built the temple. Then he fell away. If you're chosen by God, you're going to do what he called you to do. And it's going to involve persecution. Let me pause and I will continue.